All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Oliver Oliquiano, the CEO of Island Pacific Golf Academy. So, Oliver, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do and what you how you got started?
I do a little bit of everything. I focus a lot on grooming kids to getting them ready to play competitive golf through our academy. We currently have 7 instructors that teach for me. Um, five of them are PGA. We're all either PGA members or PGA certified instructors, and that's one aspect of my responsibilities out here. The other thing that I do is I'm also the senior director for U.S. Kids Golf, which I help run and operate tournaments throughout the islands. Right now, I've got 2 tours that I oversee, which is the Big Island Tour and the Oahu Tour, and we just give kids the opportunity to go out there and play some competitive golf, and their parents are join them and caddy for them, which is a great feature of that business model. The other thing that I do is I also run one of the largest PGA junior leagues, which is an introduction to competitive golf in a league format for the kids, where they play in a scramble format and go out and tackle whether it's 3 holes, 5 holes, or 9 holes, but they're competing against each other in a team format. So that's a fun thing. And the last thing that I also do, I'm also the head coach and program director for Kamehameha Schools and head coach for the varsity boys and girls team. So there's quite a few hats that I do wear. Um, and lastly, I instruct, caddy, coach my own daughter, who who's also in any and all the programs that I have available. So, well, 6-year-old is participating in that. So, aside from that, I'm also a father and overseeing my daughter's future success, I hope.
That's amazing. A man of many hats and a busy man at that. That's amazing. It's a good testimony there. And I guess off the back of your career and what you do and what your day to day looks like, what kind of trends are you noticing within the golf industry that's affecting the way Island Pacific Golf Academy does work?
I, I mean, there's always been a need for golf or instruction, if you will, but I've seen a tremendous amount of growth through the years, especially with, Tiger Woods hyping it up. And then now you've got a lot of new players on tour that are younger, stronger. And I think it's fueled a lot of interest in parents getting their kids into golf. So we've seen a huge influx of younger kids starting to learn golf at a younger age. Right, so starting them off at 3 and 5, and they're starting to hit the course by the time they're 5 and 6, and playing golf, starting to get into competition at a younger age, and then so yeah, the industry's evolved. Used to be an old man sport. Now it seems like it's trending to be more of a young man sport, and more women too involved in it as well. So more women are coming out to play golf on the course and taking instruction and leading the charge.
Gotcha. And how is that affecting you on a business standpoint?
I mean, it's been positive. It's been nothing but positivity coming out from more kids playing, more kids practicing, um, being part of the you know competitive field. It's nice to see a lot of my kids that have gone on to um, either college or starting to get to that point where they might be considering playing professionally. Uh, but for me, it feels good because somehow I felt like we've impacted them at one way or another by giving them opportunities. Just putting a club in a kid's hand, um, does wonders for them. It changes their lives. They learn a lot of things that are um, they learn a lot of life lessons from golf, right?
Right. Yeah, the golf is definitely, I would say, a great sport to put your kids in if you're looking to mature them and make them a better person and a whole. Teach you a lot of valuable life lessons, integrity, honesty, patience, all great stuff, sportsmanship. Yeah, I think that's great.
Yep.
Um, in terms of your business, where are you guys looking to be in the next 6 to 12 months? How are you looking to grow and scale with all those new golfers coming to the game?
I mean, I think we've got um, had a lot of growth with instructors, which is nice, and we brought on a lot of good instructors, ones that have the skill set to teach, have the have have the technical knowledge, and isn't afraid to utilize today's technology to teach as well. So that's been very helpful. I do have a couple of guys that are still the old school, you know, they don't care for using any of the apps. They just want to see the ball fly, want to see the swing, and can make adjustments. And um, that in itself is valuable, right? So you learn a lot from those guys too. But yeah, as far as the next 6 months or so is for growth, we definitely want to continue the path of being able to provide more tournaments. So I'm launching the Kauai Tour for U.S. Kids Golf in the early part of 2026. Much like I did in 2025, we did the Big Island Tour, so that was a great addition. So we went from I think 20 kids playing in the tournament events to close to 40 kids. So we doubled that in the last year, and we're hoping to again launch U.S. Kids Golf on in Kauai. So then now we have events on every island, including Maui. So that'll be a nice expansion for the U.S. Kids Golf um, uh, operation side of it. And then for the driving range side of it, I'm still trying to figure out what to do. We want to increase business out here on the range, and we're looking at adding different technologies or different things or different features for the driving range that would help enhance the experience, for either the average player or even the advanced player, right? So we're looking at different things.
All right, that's awesome. It's definitely good that to always expand the tournaments. There's more kids need to play the game and not so many tournaments to join. I think that's good that you're reaching more people at each and every day. It's amazing. Off the back of that, I guess, what's stopping you from implementing that right now? What's kind of something holding you back from being where you want to be right now?
Honestly, everything just takes time, right? Yeah, I had a good amount of time this weekend to reflect. I was at the drive chip putt competition on the Big Island, and I was there to help out with that regional event. And the kids that won, there were four kids that won that were representing Hawaii, and they got to punch their ticket to go to Augusta this next
Wow.
coming year. Yeah, so that'll be fun, exciting. But I I looked back and I thought to myself, God, these kids spent a lot of time practicing and spent a lot of time on the range, perfecting their swing, perfecting their game to get to that point, to get to that level where they can stand to win, right? And I think um, that's kind of what we're going through with Island Pacific Golf Academy is we're continuously trying to sharpen our tool,
Right.
sharpen our eye, right? So, and that all just takes time, right? To be the best and the best, it takes time. Whether it's Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy or whoever it is, it's, number one in the world. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of effort, but your heart has to be into it, and you just you just gotta grind it out. And that's kind of what we're doing right now is just grinding it out, trying to figure out what works for our operation and for our business, and what doesn't work, and what does work, we try to figure out if we can make it better, right? So again, all that just takes time.
Right. And what does that process look like for you when you're doing the trial and error and looking for what's working, what's not working? What's that process look like for you?
Well, let's see. From let's say from the technology standpoint, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of things out there that it'd be so easy to just throw it in the mix but there's a cost to it too, right? So you got to be wise and prudent. So I think what's been helping me a lot is just taking the time to do a lot more research, prior to making the investment of implementing something, right? So doing a lot of research, getting some feedback or reviews from people who currently use the technology and find out if it's working for them or just getting more information before pulling the trigger. And that's been helpful.
Gotcha. Yeah, information is crucial for any business decisions. I guess information relates to this as well. As someone that comes from AI like myself, how are you using AI in your business, or are you?
Yeah, we are. So, I mean, I've recently started switching over to something an AI platform that helps answer my phone calls, kind of redirect the, the junk calls or the spam calls out, just filter those out. And that way I can just
Right.
focus on returning phone calls that are actually meaningful. Um, and then the second thing that we also started implementing, or I started using, is Sportsbox AI, um, which is a great tool for me to be able to study the kinesthetics of body motion, right? In relationship to the swing and how to get people into the right position. And that tool has been very helpful because we have TrackMan, we can see the ball flight, we can see what the club head does, but now this platform helps us understand what the body's doing, right? And then that that relates to the ball flight, right? Why is it
Right.
going to the left? Well, what is your body doing, right? So I think the only missing component that I have, or I think I would need, which I'm still doing the research on, is um, feet pressure, right? So if I have the body motion, feet pressure, ball flight data, swing data, yeah, I think then you have it all. Yeah,
Right.
no excuses as to why you can't fix anything. I mean, you still have to understand how everything is tied in together, but then you have the best of the best technology to be able to provide that to your students.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. AI is definitely useful. We were doing done a podcast with a company in the past called Greenside AI, and they do it's an app and software on your phone, and it'll analyze your swing with AI. It's something super cool, something you might want to take a look at. But from a tournament standpoint, you saying you're running these tournaments all over Hawaii. How are you turning that into a business opportunity?
Well, I mean, everything that I do is all tied together, right? So whether it's coaching the high school or kids or running the tournaments, a lot of my students need an outlet to go next, right? So we start them off in group lessons, then they go to private lessons, then it's like, okay, what next? Then it's like, okay, well, let's play in the PGA Junior League, and then they love that, and they're like, well, how can we get more golf into it? Well, start playing the U.S. kids golf tournaments and caddy for your kids, and so we get them on that. So they're all correlated, like they're all tied together. It's not like one just is independent of the rest. Whatever I do, I'm always somehow involved and engaged in giving kids opportunities. And those kids that play in the U.S. Kids Golf Tour, some of them end up being my students over at Kamehameha School. So they at least get to know who I am or what I'm about. By the time they get to college and try out for the golf team, I would have already seen their swings. I would have already been familiar with their capabilities to score. So that
Right.
helps me from a coaching standpoint as well. So it's all tied together.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that almost wraps up everything I have for you. Is there a message that you want to leave with the audience today that you think is valuable to know?
Um, the only thing I can is when we give kids the opportunity to play, or you give them a golf club, you never know where they're going to end up. I got one kid right now who's one of the top players in the NCAA. He's looking to possibly turn pro. If he does, great. If he doesn't, he got a full ride education from it, and it's wonderful to know and to feel like we've made an impact for these kids. But my biggest thing is give a kid a club, give a kid golf, and let them grow with it.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. Golf is definitely a valuable skill for anybody, even if you don't continue with it on a professional level. I think it's a great thing to have on your resume almost to be able to golf with clients and stuff like that as well. So I think that's amazing. Listen, Oliver, I really appreciate your time today. This has been amazing talking to you, and I think you shared some great insights. Thank you so much for being on. Of
Thanks, Ethan. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
course.